nice smile on their face, and to see some faces I have not seen before, and some I haven't seen in a while. I would like to thank my friend of over 50-something years. We've been friends over 50 years for singing today, and Adora for playing. Adora came in to visit for her holiday, and she's been friends with her for almost the same amount of time that I've been friends with her. So what's the common denominator? It's good to have longtime friends, and it's good to have friends with talent. I always said, when I get to heaven, I'm going to be in charge of the choir. That's, telling everybody when to sing and whatever. That's probably the reason why I'm not in a choir now, because I'm just, I'm at that age where somebody's saying, sing this note and hold it that long and do this and do that. I'm just not, I can't do it. I'll leave that to Layla and the youth choir here. But it's good to be here, and I thank the pastor and the elders for this opportunity. And I'm holding these glasses in my hand, but let me tell you something. I have new eyes. Little kids will be able to tell. I understand that they can tell. You may not be able to, but they can look into my eyes and see that I have a different kind of lens. Actually, I'm a card-carrying implant lens recipient. Try saying that several times. But it didn't do anything for, I still need to be able to see small writing. I thought they were going to take care of that too, but it didn't. But anyway, on to the business at hand. Bow your heads with me, please. Father, in the name of Jesus, we pray now that you would let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my strength and my redeemer. Have you ever ordered something on a menu at a restaurant only to learn later that what you received and consumed was not what you ordered? Were you at a cafeteria or a fancy restaurant, or just standing in line at McDonald's? It doesn't matter where you were when it happened. It's the result that troubled you the most. You didn't get what you ordered. It's really frustrating to pull up to a drive-thru and order your Whopper or Big Mac by the numbers only to learn that the cashier didn't get it right. There are few things that make your order distasteful to you, so you request that they hold these items. Were you the one who asked for no salt on your fries, or for your sandwich to be cut in half? Did you specifically ask for Sprite and not Mountain Dew? If you're like most people, there have been a few times when you received everything you didn't want and none of what you really ordered. That's when you press the button or tap on the window and say, "Excuse me, but this is not what I ordered." Sometimes it's that way in life. We don't often get the life that we order. Sometimes we get what we ordered and don't like what we received. That's the reason we need to live by Psalms 119, 133, which says, "Order my steps in thy word, and let not iniquity have dominion over me." When we were younger, we were very specific about what we wanted, but it seems somehow that we didn't get the right order. Someone else got our order and we got theirs. We ordered the big house, not this one. We ordered a chauffeur-driven limousine, not a red Chevy Malibu. We ordered the easy life, flying around the world in first class section of jet planes. We ordered an unlimited checking account and designer clothes that we would wear only once and give them away. We ordered luxury health and eternal youth. That's what we order. When we look into the bag of experiences that life has given us, we are often discouraged when it turns out that very few of the experiences we asked for ended up in our bag. So now at 25, 45, 65, 75, and even 85, we're asking, is this what I ordered? See, I gave you all the ages. We have all these ages in this church. Did somebody else get my order? Unfortunately, life is not like that fast food place that allows you to have it your way. What's the name of that place? Yeah, I know y'all been. What's Burger King? It's a place where you can have it your way. We don't have the option of going through heaven's drive-through window and ordering the kind of life we will live on earth. We can't pick what color we will be, whether we will be tall or short, or whether we would live life trouble-free. We don't get to choose from the menu life number 1, number 2, or number 3 with an extra side order of the things we like best. It just doesn't work that way. As Christians, we have come to learn more about God. We have learned that life is not like ordering a value meal. No matter what we order, it is sure to come up short. Something will be missing. Those of us who know the Lord have learned to let God decide what's best for us as we mature spiritually. We don't ask what happened to the life I ordered. Now we say, order my steps so I can live the life you've given me according to your will. Now we are aware that AI and whoever else are coming up with designer babies where a parent can put in their order and get say they want a redhead with green eyes, for example, and get it. What if we could really have our way? Suppose we could get on our knees at night and hear God say to us what he said to Solomon: have joy. Order up a life any way you choose. What would be the result? Most of us will order a whopper of a life. Remember these metaphors now. It would be a Mac life. Mac, when I say Mac life, I want you to know that I'm talking about a huge life, okay? However, Whoppers and Big Macs are big, but they also come packaged with everything on them. Most of us couldn't enjoy having a Whopper of a Mac life because there are too many things on it that we don't like. If we could order a Mac life for ourselves, we would delete anything that has an element of bitterness to it. That means we would hold the mayonnaise. Mayonnaise is made mostly of egg yolks and lots of oil. It also has lemon juice and powdered onions. Lemon juice is bitter. Onions are mostly bitter, unless you're like me and you only use Vidalia sweet onions. And they don't make you cry. Eggs and mayonnaise can go bad if left unrefrigerated. So we want nothing that can possibly go bad. Plus, it's a little bitter too. So we say, hold the mayonnaise. What about mustard? Hold the mustard. Mustard is made by grinding the mustard seeds into a powder and mixing it with spices. Jesus said if we had the faith of one mustard seed, we could move mountains. So you would think that the life we ordered would contain a life lived by faith. Not so, because mustard is made by mixing the mustard seeds with vinegar and spices. That means living by faith could be a little tough to swallow. So say, hold the mustard. Oh, you're not getting it. You should see where I'm going. What about pickles? A pickle is actually a cucumber. Numbers 11:5 says the children of Israel ate cucumbers. I mean, evidently it appeared they loved them. They often ate them, and they would say that they ate them ate them raw. But a cucumber comes like that. It's not a pickle yet. However, a pickle is a cucumber that has been through a lot. Pickles have endured vinegar, salt, pickling lime, and much more. In life, when we lose our health, we are in a pickle. When we lose our money, we are in a pickle. If we lose our job, we are in a pickle. When we choose the life we want for ourselves, we say, hold the pickle. Onions. Onions add taste to recipes, but when you cut into an onion, it releases these acids that turn into a gas. These gases can mix well with water in your eyes and turn into a mild form of sulfuric acid. To get rid of the acids that could harm your eyes, your brain sends out a signal that makes you cry. But the crying is good for eyes because without the tears, the acid could burn your eyes. If you live in this life, you will have to cry sometimes. You try your best to prepare something that would be good, but the sulfuric acids of worry, pain, and anxiety get in your eyes and you have to cry. Many see life that has crying and tears and they say, hold the onion. We're not, you don't get it? What about tomatoes? A lot of people don't like tomatoes. They say they're a little slippery and slimy and they look too ugly. I don't get that part. But they'll say, hold the tomatoes. Some will hold the ketchup because they say it looks like blood. So hold the ketchup. And they don't like lettuce because they say it's green and raw and they don't want anything in their life that's raw. So they say hold the lettuce. When we remove everything that we don't like about life, I remember we ordered a Whopper, all that is left is meat and bread. When Israel wandered in the wilderness, they ate bread for years and they had quail for 1 month. They complained because they wanted cucumbers, onions, melon, garlic, and all the things they miss. The same things that a lot of people don't like. There are even some who don't like meat because they're vegetarians, so they eat veggie burgers. When we were in school at Oakwood and we got tired of the cafeteria food, we had no idea we were vegans or vegetarians at the time. We didn't know. We just knew that a lot of times the food was very different. I'll put it that way. Without all of the extras, well, I can tell you what we would do. We would go to Burger King and order a meatless Whopper. And there would be other people in the line saying, give me their meat, or can I have the meat that they don't want? But we actually ordered meatless Whoppers, and they charged us the same amount of money as they charged for the regular Whopper. But that was only when we were able to escape, get back before curfew. Without all of the extras and the meat, there's nothing left but the bread, which is what they started with and began to complain about in the first place. Remember? They did not want the manna. What is this? It's just bread. Then we hear God saying that man shall not live by bread alone. You know, I'm sure this is going through their mind. He said, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of God. And that's probably the reason why he doesn't allow us to have it our way. But the bread that they had in the wilderness was like the heavenly biscuits or heavenly food meant for heavenly residents. You couldn't buy that bread, couldn't get that bread anyplace else except where God let it fall on the earth. It takes some of the things we don't like about life to make it worth living and to give it substance. This is probably also the reason why in Matthew 13:24-30, the Lord says to let the wheat and the tare grow up together. When they're young, they look alike, and you may pull out the wheat thinking you're pulling out the tares. So it's better to let them grow fully before you separate them. That way you'll know exactly what you're pulling up. Leave out, you're trying to get rid of everything that comes on that Whopper that you ordered. And you don't know whether those things are good for you or not. You're just getting rid of them. We should really consider the wisdom of Solomon about our lives. Lean not to our own understanding. Ask God and he will direct our path. If we ask God to prepare a path for our lives, be assured that God will not give us a plain life. It may have a little of everything. When we decide to map out our lives and all of this, I'm sure all of y'all wrote down what you wanted, and before you got married, I'm sure you had a list of attributes and things you wanted your spouse to have, didn't you? You didn't? You didn't write it down? Of course you knew what you wanted, and when my husband died, I started making out my list of what I wanted. You can't tell the Lord who to give you. You really can't, because, my husband has been dead 13 years. So I had to start crossing stuff off that list. I had a long list of things. And evidently that person didn't exist. If God is going to give us, the life that he knows is best for us. If he gives us lots of sunshine, he's going to give us a little rain. We had a lot of cold this week, and in the middle of the cold, we did get a little rain. He'll give us a little happiness and sometimes a little pain. He'll give us an hour to smile and a few minutes of trouble. He gives us a bed to sleep in and the children to make the joys double. When God gives you a mountain, remember there's a valley around the way. If God orders us moments of sadness, he'll throw on a happy day. We wouldn't like it if the sun always shined, or would you? And night never came. Or if we were always victorious in the game. I know some people who like to win all the time. The life that God gives us is not from Burger King, it's from the King of Kings. There's a difference between the two. There's a difference between Mickey D's and the Master of the Seas. At the drive-through window at Burger King, if you ask and pay for it, you can get your order supersized. When your order is supersized, it means you get a few more fries and they double the size of the drink. That's the same way I understand they do it at Mickey D's too. But I heard Jesus say, I've come that they may have life and that they might have it more abundantly. That means that an obedient saint whose life is ordered in the will of God does not have to ask, pay anything or anything extra. His life is automatically supersized. God told Malachi, that for those who are obedient in returning tithe and offering, that he would open up the windows of heaven and pour out blessings more than believers could receive. Now, I've told you all, I don't know how many times, that is a fact. That is true. That happens. Trust the Lord. Test him. That's the one time he tells you to test him. Test him. You would be surprised. You would be so surprised at the difference in your life if you would trust the Lord by returning of the first fruits. That means if we are obedient, you don't have to ask for it because God would automatically supersize your blessing. Because Samson was obedient, God supersized his strength and he became the strongest man in the world. Because Solomon was obedient, God supersized his wisdom and he was the wisest man of all times. Because Abraham was obedient, God supersized his faith and he lived his life in the bosom of the Lord. Because Methuselah was obedient, God supersized his life to 969 years. Because David was obedient, God supersized his humility and he became known as a man after God's own heart. Now, all of these people I named were not perfect. They were not perfect. But look at what God did for them. Hezekiah was obedient and God supersized his life and gave him 15 more years. God has supersized your blessings too. He supersized the joy of your families. And I can tell you, you know, you may not think about it. You're with your husband and your wife every day. Some of you have children every day. Y'all have worship together and you eat together, all this stuff. But when you're by yourself, when you're a widow, and we have several, I think, widows in it. When you're a widow, you're by yourself. I mean, I used to try to do devotion the way George and I would do it. I'd be up there trying to sing a song by myself. I said, come on now. This is, come on, Jesus. What is this? You want me to keep doing this by myself? And look, I've done it for almost 13 and a half years. And do I look like I'm down and out? Do I? You all think I'm down and out? You think I'm down? No. As long as you have the Lord in your life, that it's just, you don't worry about certain things. If it happens, it happens. The Lord will supersize your business and finances. One of the good things, He'll supersize the strength of your marriage. And that's not the best part. At Burger King, you have to pay extra. But when a saint goes to the window of heaven, he hears the words, you can't pay for your blessings because Jesus paid it all. Jesus, this Lord of Lords, Lily of the Valley, bright and morning star. If you think about all of the names of Jesus, oh my goodness, it's just wonderful. It does something to you. Proverbs 20:24 in the NIV says, a person's steps are directed by the Lord. How then can anyone understand their own way? This text focuses on a proverb of Solomon that points to the importance of allowing God to direct our lives instead of self-direction. Solomon was the third king of Israel. He is respected as a man who possessed great wisdom. Most of his wisdom was given to him by God. However, some of his wisdom was learned in the school of hard knocks. As a young man, Solomon became king of Israel. He recognized the enormity of his position and prayed for guidance. One night while he slept, God appeared to him in a dream and gave him the opportunity to ask for anything he wanted as king. God promised to give him whatever he wanted. It was a chance to pick life the way he wanted, down to the smallest detail. Riches, fame, possessions, and anything else were available to him if he wanted. In 1 King 39, he decided it would be best to have an understanding heart and let God lead him. Most of the book of Proverbs is a collection of the wisdom of Solomon. It reflects what he's been given by God through revelation and what he learned through the experiences in his life. In Proverbs chapter 3, it refers to one of the great truths about life that Solomon learned and reduced to a mere proverb. Verses 5 and 6 that Naila read. Trust in the Lord. You all knew it. You can say it with me. With all thine heart, and lean not to your own understanding. In all, and He will direct our path. When we think of it now, what it says is a simple, let God set your course rather than picking your own direction. Whenever we are to make the choices about what we do in life, consult Him, and He will direct us to the path that we should take. But who am I to tell you how to live? My answer is this. It's the same as the words of a song written by the Williams brothers from Smithville, Mississippi. I'm just a nobody trying to tell everybody about somebody who could save your soul. And that person is Jesus the Christ, the Son of the living God. So if you want a specific life, you need to pray, 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 and then pray some more. Talk to God about it and ask Him to give you the ability, the strength, the knowledge, and everything else that you need to live the life that He has given to you. Remembering where God has brought you from and realizing where you are today should let you know that God is still in the blessing business. Growing up in segregated Mississippi in the 50s was not easy, but my mom believed in the Lord for everything and taught us to do the same. Even if we had to be disciplined in a physical way, she always talked to the Lord first and then to us so that we could understand why she had to punish us. This came from a woman who did not finish high school until 4 of her children had completed college. But this same lady was able to help us with our homework, whether it was calculus or physics. We believe it was because she was blessed of the Lord. Don't take your blessings for granted. Don't get caught up with the world and say, I am just lucky. I know that I'm blessed of the Lord, and I know that I don't deserve the blessings, but He keeps blessing me anyway. Mark 12:11 says, is it 12:11 or 12:1? This is the Lord's doing, and it is marvelous in our eyes. When the Lord gives you the ability to bless someone, you're blessed as well. So today, don't miss out on your blessing. Amen? Our closing song is such a beautiful song. It is Well With My Soul. Please stand with me as we sing our closing song. And our first elder, Elder Windsor, will give us our benediction. Of course, he went outside.
Stand with me. When peace like a river attendeth my way, when sorrows like sea billows roll,